Welcome back to the Future in AI. Today, we'll be diving into a breakthrough in event technology that's attracting major attention from organizers, partners, and investors alike in blockchain ticketing. With Eventdex, now part of Nextech3D.ai, blockchain ticketing is becoming a key revenue driver for 2025 and 2026, increasing AOV, creating new recurring revenue streams, and strengthening our AI-first event ecosystem. Joining me today is our CEO, Evan Gappelberg, to break down the opportunity, the technology, and the impact this innovation will have on our growth strategy. Welcome, Evan.
Thanks, Katie. Great to be back.
I agree. So let's start at the beginning. Why does the event industry need blockchain ticketing to begin with?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's really, why does blockchain ticketing matter for the event industry? And from our perspective, from my perspective, the global ticketing market is kind of archaic and pretty much obsolete in a lot of ways, especially with AI able to create fraudulent tickets. The market's a $90 billion industry. It's dominated by a few monopolistic companies like Ticketmaster and Vivid Seats and Live Nation. And so, there's kind of this outdated infrastructure that creates systemic problems. And those problems are significant, including counterfeit and duplicated tickets, unauthorized reselling, better known as scalping. If you've ever been to an event, a live event right out in front, there's, someone saying, psst, psst, tickets, tickets.
All
That's
those
kind of,
signs.
yeah, all the
Mhm.
signs, all of that is scalping. There's a lack of traceability and ownership. There's huge amounts of revenue that's being missed from organizers because of all this. And ultimately, there's this kind of erosion of trust between the organizers and the attendees. And this is not like, once in a while. It's not like edge cases. These are structural flaws. These happen at every single event. And so blockchain ticketing fixes this at the foundational level. Each ticket becomes a unique, verifiable digital asset that cannot be forged. It cannot be duplicated. It cannot be altered. And this reintroduces the idea of trust, transparency, and security into a market that desperately, desperately needs modernization. So for shareholders, this represents a very, very large addressable market with a clear pain point and a strong willingness to pay for solutions.
Okay, great. And my next question from here, and this is for investors who may be new to the scene, but how would you actually explain blockchain ticketing in simple terms, so we can understand it?
Yeah, I mean, think of it as a digital ledger, an immutable digital ledger, a system that permanently records ownership and transactions in a way that cannot be tampered with. In blockchain ticketing, every ticket is recorded on the blockchain. It becomes part of the code. Every transaction, purchase, transfer, resale, scan is logged permanently, digitally. So, you know, everything's verifiable instantly. And this enables, essentially total fraud protection, as mentioned earlier, real-time authentication, full traceability from issuance to entry, and it's secure, right? So, you can essentially create a resale rule in the ticket so that the digital ticket can only be sold at, let's say, a 10% premium. And then even if you sell it at that 10% premium, you can designate who keeps the percentage. So is it 8% to the seller and 2% to the original issuer? That's, the rules-based resale, which, in practical terms, ultimately adds up to blockchain ticketing, modernizing uh, access. And it's the same way kind of that, credit cards that now have the chips on them, modernized payments. So that's kind of, the short version of what a blockchain ticket is.
Gotcha. Yeah, it definitely feels like the future is really trending towards this blockchain ticketing. That being said, we're not the only company exploring blockchain tickets. What is it that sets us apart?
So the reason why Nextech and Eventdex is uniquely positioned and really, where our competitive edge becomes very clear is that we're a fully integrated event operating system. We're not a point solution. Blockchain ticketing is not Nextech's only function. It's embedded into our event registration and check-in, our AI-powered matchmaking, our interactive 3D floor plans. So, we're not looking at blockchain ticketing as just a standalone product. We look at it as part of our end-to-end one-stop shop. And this truly does create an event operating system, not a point solution. And that really does set us apart from some of the other competitors in the space who are just creating a blockchain ticketing solution, but don't have the end-to-end. And so if you look at our business, we already serve thousands of recurring events globally. And so blockchain ticketing can be upsold to existing customers, bundled into higher value packages and deployed without customer retraining. So it creates near-term revenue expansion, not a speculative future product without any customers. So that's a big differentiator. And lastly, I would say that our AI layers a second line of defense. AI-driven identity and fraud detection is something that we're building as well. So you have the blockchain, then you have the AI detecting suspicious activity, identifying bots and resale abuse, flagging anomalous access behavior. So the combination of those two is, again, something our competitors simply can't replicate. And for us, ultimately, there's a potential resale monetization, a revenue unlock, so to speak, where blockchain ticketing, you know, can be programmed again so that we get a piece of the resale. Organizers ultimately control the resale rules. Royalties can be earned on every sale. Price ceilings and floors can be enforced. And so this activity alone, when you're talking to an event organizer, can increase their revenue by 20, 30%, making the value prop extremely compelling. So if you think about the Ticketmasters and the StubHubs that sell tickets, right now they get zero royalties on every earned sale. If we could show them how through blockchain ticketing they could increase their revenue by 20, 30%, I think we're going to have a very, very interested uh, partner there. So that's a big piece of our roadmap in 2026. There's limited competitive overlap. Most ticketing companies do not have AI ecosystems, do not control the full event lifecycle, do not integrate physical and digital experience. Nextech does, and that's something that I think our investors really need to take notice of and realize is that this is happening. This is global. This is without borders. And, we really stand at the intersection of events, AI, and blockchain ticketing.
Absolutely. This is really a standout system that we have set up here at Nextech. Now, you touched on this a little bit, but I want to go back to the numbers. What does blockchain ticketing mean for us financially? What can our investors look at?
So that's a good question. We don't actually have the hard numbers yet to share with our investors, but it's fair to say this is a high margin recurring SaaS revenue stream that will impact our business in, four unique ways. One, new blockchain ticketing subscriptions. Two, upsells across the Eventdex customer base. Three, higher average order size or deals, and four, participation in secondary market resale revenue. So, this is, uh, I mean, there's just four different ways for us to win. And so over the next 18, 24 months, blockchain ticketing really has the potential to contribute millions in annual recurring revenue, making it a material revenue catalyst for shareholders. And that's really the key, is that we're setting the stage for a really big surge in revenue as blockchain ticketing takes over the entire ticketing ecosystem, which we said is around $80 billion today.
Wow. Yeah, I'm loving this forward thinking. I actually want to hear your opinion. Where are you looking at this evolving in the next few years?
To me, blockchain ticketing is the foundation of what's coming next in this world of ticketing. So, back in the late 90s, they were laying fiber optic cables across the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean to connect countries through high-speed internet. And so that was like foundational. You needed that in order to actually have a global internet. And so blockchain ticketing is that kind of foundational piece where you have, again, identity linked digital tickets, NFT based event credentials and badges, loyalty and reward tokens, digital collectibles for exhibitors and sponsors, attendees based incentives, sponsored incentives. A sponsor might give away tokens at an event, AI-driven access control and analytics in 2 to 3 years, which isn't that far away. We're talking 27, 28. Blockchain secured access will be the industry standard for major events. And so we believe Nextech is early, and early puts us in a position to scale.
Perfect. So I love that we're getting a head start on the future here. It's exciting to be part of that movement and part of that foundation. Speaking of exciting, my favorite part is our rapid fire questions. I really enjoyed the last round. Are you ready for another?
Sure.
Okay. Give me one word that you would use to describe blockchain ticketing.
Hmm. Transformational.
Great. And the biggest benefit for our organizers?
One word again, or
You can use a few if you really feel like it needs it.
okay. Security, transparency, revenue.
Great. Now, how about our shareholders, the Nextech shareholders? Their biggest benefit.
Recurring, yeah, recurring revenue and platform expansion. Expansion to new industries like the blockchain events going on globally.
Gotcha. And I know we talked about the prediction for the next few years, but what about 2026?
I mean, I think blockchain ticketing becomes mainstream, that it becomes a hot ticket in 2026.
Yeah, we're right on the edge there. So thank you so much, Evan, for taking the time with me today and discussing why blockchain ticketing isn't just innovation. We're creating scalable growth engines for Nextech here. So thank you
Yes,
so much for
and
that.
yes, and thank you, Katie. With Eventdex now part of Nextech3D.ai and Crafty Labs, which we're acquiring in the first week of January, we are building one of the most advanced, most secure AI-powered event platforms in the world. Blockchain ticketing is a major pillar of that future and a meaningful value driver for our shareholders.
Well, perfect. You really hit it home there. I'd like to say thank you to everyone for listening and joining us today. If you'll go ahead and follow us as we continue shaping the AI-driven future of event technology, this has been episode 9.
Thank you, Katie.